Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you so much for stopping by. And welcome to our 2025 Premium Goggle Buyer's Guide. Now look, when it comes to goggles, you're splitting hairs here. And the good thing is that there's a lot of really good goggles to choose from. For some riders, it might be price point. For others, it might just be the colorway that you like the most, which is perfectly fine. And to be totally honest with you, I've ridden in all the goggles that are up here on the table. So I'm gonna give you some of my personal feedback as we go through and we talk about these. But I'm gonna try and just give you some of the subtle little nuances and differences between these premium goggles that'll maybe help you decide which one of you feel is gonna be best for you. It might be which goggle has the best lens changing system, which goggle I feel is the most comfortable, the fit of the goggles, or even just some of the lens tint options that are available for some of these as we go through and we talk about them. But I would love to hear your feedback. Please, as I talk about them, comment down below, tell me which goggle you have up here on the table, what you like and dislike about it. And if you don't have any of these and you could only take one home, which one would it be? That being said, last thing I will mention, we have our fit guarantee. No matter which goggle you buy, what I recommend is always get a goggle, try it on with your helmet. Don't go ride in it. Put your helmet on, put the goggle on, because not all goggles fit the same depending on what helmet you are wearing. I know that some goggles for me fit better in certain helmets, so do that first. Make sure you like how it fits, you're getting a good seal, all the other things, and then decide if that's a goggle that's gonna be the best fit for you. But if you don't like it, you can send it back in brand new unused condition, and we will give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange. So if you got a prospect, but you wanna try out the new Supertech from Alpinestars, we'll give you free shipping on that first exchange to make sure you get the goggle that fits you and you like the best. Let's dive into it. All right, we're gonna start out with the goggle that started all of this. This thing is 2013 is when the Oakley Airbrake came out. And just to give you kind of a testament of how good this goggle is, it has not gone through any changes since 2013, any major changes that is, and it's still considered one of the best goggles 11 years, 12 years later. That's pretty phenomenal that Oakley was able to do that. What I like about the Airbrake is the fit on this. You know when you have a pair of shoes that you've had for a long time, or maybe a pair of like Birkenstock sandals that are broken in just nice, and you put them on, it just fits your foot perfect. That's how I feel when I put a pair of the Airbrakes on. It just fits right over my face. It feels like they were custom fit for my face. So as far as the fit goes, it's my favorite fitting goggle that is up here on the table. When it comes to their lens changing system, here's my criteria for what I think makes a really good lens changing system. It's, can I take a lens out, clean it, do what I need to do, put it back in without having to touch it with my fingers and get it smudged up and then have to try and wipe those off. That's what I like to see in a lens changing system. The Airbrake, again, this is one of those cool features. When it came out, it still today has one of the best, if not the best, lens changing system. You can swap a lens out in a matter of seconds. You don't have to worry about touching the lens at all. It works incredible. The field of view is awesome, and obviously with Oakley, they have their prism lens technology. They've always kind of been at the forefront when it comes to clarity out of their lenses. That still holds true today. Oakley's phenomenal. But here's some of the drawbacks to the Airbrake. So first of all, price point. It's kind of weird to me that this goggle's been around for that long, but it still remains the most expensive goggle up here on the table. I feel like Oakley, they could bring the price down a little bit. Look, I get they're the premium option, but it's still the most expensive. Also, when it comes to fogging, now look, just about all the goggles up here offer a dual lens or some sort of vented lens option if you're gonna be doing more enduro riding, slower, more technical riding. They all have the options for that, but the standard Airbrake fogs up quicker than any goggle that I've ridden in. When I put these on and I go ride, so if I've had this happen before, I'm at the starting gate getting ready for one of my gate drops, I put my goggles on, I put them on too early, next thing you know, they're starting to fog up before my gate drop and I'm pulling my goggles off doing this, trying to get airflow in. They're just, for whatever reason, they just don't circulate as much air as these others when you're not riding. So if it's cooler outside and you stop riding, you got to take them off kind of quick before they fog, but they do have a dual pane lens option available if you are worried about that. But overall, phenomenal fit, field of view is great, and you have their Swift Lock lens changing system, which is great. Next up, you have the Scott Prospect. The Scott Prospect would probably be my #1 goggle, and I'll explain why here, if it had a better lens changing system. I'll talk more about that, but this is the 2.0 version. So the fit on the original Prospect, look, I've worn the Prospect a lot. I could get along with it, but depending on what helmet I wore the Prospect in, I either liked it or I didn't. Some helmets I'd have it on, the Prospects would push down on my nose and it just pinched me and I didn't like it. Other helmets, the fit was fine. With the 2.0 version, they've updated the face foam to where it fits better over the nose. And honestly, it was much needed. I'm glad to see they did that. So to me, the fit on this new Prospect is much better. I also think too, I had another guy here, we were trying all these goggles on back to back, seeing any differences we can notice. We both felt like the Prospect had some of the best field of view when you put it on. You put it on, you just feel like you can just see so much with that on. I love that. It's a very lightweight feeling goggle, and it's a complete step in the opposite direction when it comes to venting. The Prospect, when you just look at the foam on top compared to some of these others, it has some of the more porous foam, so you're getting good airflow coming in, so it doesn't fog up nearly as easy as some of the other goggles up here. It's kind of a catch though, because if you are riding in really dusty conditions, that porous foam is going to let more dust in certain situations, so it is a trade-off, but the field of view is awesome. I love the face foam on the Prospect 2.0. It's got some of these dimples on the back. It's very comfortable. I feel like their face foam absorbs more sweat than some of the other goggles that are up here. Now, the Achilles heel to the Prospect 2.0, I forgot to mention, this is probably my favorite looking goggle. I don't care what helmet you're wearing, Prospect 2.0 always looks great. But the Achilles heel is their lens changing system. It's one of the, I'd say, of all the goggles up here, it is by far, I'm not gonna say the worst, but I'm gonna say it's the most tedious and most work to swap a lens on a Prospect than any other, because they don't have any sort of just quick system. It's pretty old school where there's actually 4 pins that lock the lens into place, so it's great safety. But to take the lens out, you have to get it out of this gasket, and to put it in there, it just takes a little bit more work. I can't do it. I've never done it without smudging up the lens and having to go and wipe those smudges off. If I had one critique, that would be it for the Prospect. But let me finish with this. When it comes to lens tints, all these goggles up here have different lens tints available. The amplifier lens tints from Scott are my favorites. If you're talking about a lens tint that, and I'm gonna sound crazy saying this, but their Rose amplifier, just to give an example, is my favorite lens tint of all time. It does a good job of not making the sun so harsh in bright sunlight, but it still keeps everything nice and bright. It gives me good contrast. But then when I ride in low light conditions and cloud cover, it still brightens everything up and I have good contrast. Don't ask me how that works. All I know is I love the Rose amplifier lenses from Scott. Moving on, you have the 100% Armega. This is what Jet Lawrence, a lot of the top dudes are wearing right now. The Armega is a really solid goggle, okay? When it first came out, it kind of was rivaling the Oakley Airbrake. So when the Airbrake came out, it revolutionized goggles. But what's cool though is that goggles have slowly caught up, right? And so the Airbrake, or excuse me, the Armega, phenomenal goggle. You've got a lot of different lens tint options. Their hyper lenses are really good. Phenomenal clarity, again, helping to increase contrast in those situations. What's cool about the Armega, it does have a couple features that are pretty unique to just it. One being, you've got the triple layer face foam on the back, but one feature that it has that none of the others do is that there is a gutter here around the edge of the frame between the frame of the goggle and the face foam. And what it's designed to do is that in hot situations, maybe you ride in a very humid area, if you're sweating a ton, your sweat gets pushed through the foam and then into this gutter, and then it pushes that sweat to the side of the goggle, not into your face. Now, personally, like I spend a lot of time with the Armega, I've never sweat enough to see if that feature actually works. I've never taken an Armega off and actually seen moisture inside that gutter. Not to say it doesn't work. Maybe I just haven't been sweaty enough or ridden in the right conditions to see that, but it is a pretty unique feature. Their lens changing system is good. Is it as seamless or as good as maybe the Airbrake? It's slightly behind, but look, I am splitting hairs here because yes, I can swap a lens on the Armega without having to touch the lens. And again, if I can do that, I'm a happy customer. Awesome clarity. Now, when you do, the cons to the Armega is when you put this goggle on, you'll notice just looking at it compared to the others that from the edge of the frame on the outside to the edge of the face foam, it's a pretty thick goggle. And when I mentioned how me and that other person had put on the Prospect, we noticed, man, I feel like I have the most field of view. The Armega is the one that makes me feel like I have the most tunnel vision when I put it on initially. Meaning, because it's thicker, I just feel like I can see more of the frame when I first put it on. Once I start to ride, I honestly forget about that. It doesn't really affect me. But when you're putting these all on back to back to back, that's just kind of one of the things that you notice. But I love the look of the Armega. Again, phenomenal lens clarity, does everything good. And price point, you can get these from around $100 to about 120. That is one thing about the Prospect that is nice. It's the least expensive goggle up here. So price point wise, these two are great. All right, moving on. You have the Fox View. So the View, a little funny story here. When they were designing this goggle, well, they had Ken Roxon, right? And Ken Roxon was wearing Oakley Airbrakes at the time. And so when you put on a Fox View, to me, the View and the Airbrake fit almost the same. Like if I were to close my eyes and you were to give me both and I put them on, I might not be able to tell you which one I just put on my face because they fit very similar. And I know Roxon loved the Airbrake, so it's not a surprise that the View fits similar to the Airbrake. So it's very comfortable, great field of view. It doesn't fog up as quickly as the Airbrake does. Again, you've got different lens choice options. They do have their Vivid lens. So Oakley's got their Prism lens. You've got the Hyper lenses with 100%. You've got the amplifier lenses with Scott. Now you've got the Vivid with Fox, and all these lenses, what they're all designed to do is just in different lighting conditions, give you more clarity, increase the contrast to help you see better. But I would say that the Fox is right behind the Airbrake when it comes to just fitment. Again, it just feels like a nice broken in pair of shoes when I put them on. Great field of view, excellent clarity with their lenses. And honestly, the lens changing system, you could say it's a little bit more work than the Armega, but it's really not that bad. It's pretty simple to do. The way you do is actually twist the outriggers off, put a new lens on there, pop them back on. It's not that bad. But overall, I honestly really don't have any critiques about the View. It does everything well. I've ridden in it, and it's a goggle that I really like to ride in. Next up, you have the Leatt 6.5. So the 6.5, kind of like the Fox, where it's hard to pick this thing apart. It's got a good lens changing system. What is cool about Leatt, you've got their triple layer face foam. That's very comfortable, good field of view, but their lenses are dual pane right out of the box. And so for off-road riders, enduro guys, if you're worried about fogging, they actually just come standard with a dual pane lens, which is pretty dang cool. But like I said, a lot of cool colorways to choose from with the Leatt. And kind of like with the Fox, there's just not many things that I can pick apart. It's comfortable, and yeah, it's a great goggle. And if there's some colorways that you really like, I think you're really gonna like the 6.5. And then you have the Havoc Helios. This is a brand new goggle from Havoc. And this thing is, I think, one of the more underrated goggles out there. Look, Havoc doesn't have the reputation that these other brands do, but it's still a great goggle. Now, it's priced at about 120 bucks, so it competes with some of these at price. And I think it's gonna be a little bit difficult for Havoc, because I know for people that if you're goggle shopping, you're gonna spend that much money, it's gonna be hard to choose a Havoc that doesn't have the same reputation or time as some of these other brands. But I think it's worth taking the risk because I've ridden this goggle. It's very comfortable, great field of view. Now I will say that, again, going back to trying these on all back to back to back, I don't feel like the lens clarity out of the Havoc is quite as sharp as some of the other goggles that are up here. Could be just me, but it's still clear. Look, people, I'm splitting hairs here, but it's got an injection molded lens, optically correct, different lens tint options available, triple layer face foam. It's got a lens changing system that rivals the Airbrake. It's magnetic. Now, look, I'll say it actually is easier than the Airbrake, if that's even possible, because it's minutely better. But it's a magnetic system that works really well, and it's a comfortable goggle, great field of view, cool colorways to choose from. My only drawback that I would say is that right now, there's no roll-off systems available for the Helios. So if you are looking to get roll-offs, might not be the best option. They also do have their Infinity goggle, which has been super popular. That's the big dog. That's a fully magnetic shield, or to me, lens. So you can literally just take a lens off and smack another one on there. It's a cool looking goggle. It's been really popular. Don't take my word for it. Go read rider reviews. Last but not least, you have the new Supertech goggle from Alpinestars, brand new. This is a goggle that Hunter Lawrence had been riding in and testing for the entire 2000, probably 23 and 24 season before it came out. And it's pretty cool. So they have their True Vision lens, which, like the others up here, what they say with their lens technology is that as the light's coming in, it's directing that light directly to your retina. So the way it works, it's just gonna give you the clearest vision possible. Again, increasing contrast, helping you see better. But it's injection molded lens, optically correct. The fit on this goggle, it's a very comfortable goggle, but it I would say it and the Armega, when you put these two on, they're the narrowest feeling. And so what I mean by that is you kind of have to wiggle them a little bit just to get them to sit around your eyes. It's not a deal breaker, but again, it's just something you're gonna notice. But what I do like though is that they purposely kind of do that. You can see they have a little wedge or a little relief cut in their foam because they want to make sure that you're getting the best seal possible around the edge of your face when you put them on, and that's why they made them a little bit narrower like that. What's also cool about the Supertech goggle is, unlike any others up here, they have this little wedge design where the strap connects to the outrigger. That is to give you the best angle possible when you put your goggles on your helmet. Because you notice that some helmets, the way that the strap, you know, the shape of the helmet, the strap comes off at an angle off your goggle. Well, the straps are meant to just go straight off the goggle, not at an angle. So in some situations, that could mess up the seal that the goggle's giving you. That's why they put this wedge shape there to make it give you the best fit possible, which is pretty dang cool. They also have a really good, simple lens changing system. Again, you just pop their little pieces on the outside down, pop the lens out, put it back in. So it's right there with the Airbrake, the Armega, and the Fox. It's a great system, very comfortable, a lot of cool colorways to choose from, and yeah, it's great. Other than that, I don't have anything I can complain about with the new Supertech goggle. It's phenomenal. You just got to decide, you know, is it the colorways that you're looking at? Is it the price point? They're all pretty competitive as far as price, except for obviously with the Airbrake. I mean, you can get up over $200 for some of their colorways with the Prism lens technology, which I think is kind of crazy, but all in all, you can't go wrong with any one of these goggles. They're all good options. There's just little subtle differences that you might notice, and that's why I said the biggest thing is when you buy these, try them on with the helmet that you're gonna be wearing them with, and make sure that you're getting the best fit possible, because there's a lot of cool colorways to choose from. Like I said, when the Airbrake first came out, it kind of revolutionized the goggle market, but here we are 10, 11 years later, and I do feel like these goggle companies have caught up to Oakley when it comes to just the technology and the clarity in their lenses, so it's up to you to decide which one you feel is going to be best. But if you have questions or comments, if you want some more feedback, please leave those down below. I don't have the time to say it today, but I've ridden all these goggles in different helmets, some more than others, so I'm more than happy to give you more personal feedback if that's what you're looking for. But please, comments down below. To grab some of these, to see all the cool colorways and everything available, click the link or head over to RockyMountainATVMC.com. You know the deal. We ship for free over $75. If you want to stay up to date on awesome product guides like this, get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. I am Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.